Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Come on in, friends. Welcome to Mysteries Beyond the Scenes. We are streaming live on R.I.F.T Nation Network this lovely Wednesday evening on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. I think that's it. And Kick maybe, and Kicks. I don't know. We're streaming live. I know that. Please like and share. Hit that like button. Share us out. Thank you, Keith, for sharing us out. Thank you, Miss Tammy, for sharing us out. Happy Wednesday, where we combine forensic astrology with true crime to come up with mapping areas for our missing persons and cold case homicides and also homicides. Hopefully the charts and the astrology can gleam a little light into true crime and assist our search and rescue folks that we love so dearly, our earth angels, as I like to call them, like Miss Tammy, who is not only a PI, she's also search and rescue with little Bach, her search and rescue pup. Welcome, Linda, Keith, Lee, Tammy. Come on in, everybody, for a Wednesday evening. It's cold here. I saw in the chat where you guys were talking about weather. It's like hoodie weather here. Hoodie. But it's going to be in the 90s by the weekend, so it's not going to last. But every morning this week going to work, I've had on a hoodie or a jacket. So it's been cold. We are in the middle of what I have been lovingly calling a CCF on Facebook, which is a cosmic cluster. I can't say the word here, and I actually misspell it on FaceTime, so I'm not using foul language. But we're in the middle of it. So we're easing down on our CCF. But what I wanted to tell you guys in the last, remember we talked about earthquakes on Keith's show. In the last 24 hours, guess how many earthquakes have occurred? 1,028 earthquakes. Yeah, 1,028. So earthquakes have been really out of control. Hopefully a big one won't hit, but we'll take all the babies. We'll take all the baby quakes Uranus can throw at us. We'll take all of them. We just don't want a big one. Also, I thought, well, I'm going to check out the mundane astrology for the past week because we knew something was going to happen. Well, the Prime Minister of Japan stepped down due to scandal. I don't know. I hate to say this, but I really don't know who he is, but I'm sure he's important. But he stepped down. And as you all know, in Chicago, in the DNC, we've been keeping everything crossed, toes, fingers, everything we can cross, we've been crossing. And I know that there have been demonstrations. I know there have been arrests. I know they've been rowdy, but we're, knock on wood, everything seems to be, the police are doing a phenomenal job up there. So hats off to law enforcement. And apparently up in Chicago, they've had law enforcement from all over the country show up to assist the Chicago PD, which is wonderful. I do believe the National Guard is there too, helping to assist. So I thought, wow, I had the earthquake alert thing on my phone because I knew it would be, I thought it would be crazy, but a big volcano went off at the same time that big earthquake went off over the weekend in Russia. I think it was like a 7.9 or a 9. It was gigantic, but at the same time the earthquake struck, a volcano erupted in Russia. So I thought, oh, here comes Uranus. I know. Just take that energy and just put it somewhere. We don't want it. So it's been eventful, but not eventful. We will take non-eventful, though. We will take it. We'll take it. Things are separating now. So hopefully things will calm down. We got about 2 more days. Just be careful. Watch your driving. Slow down. That's it. Just slow down with your driving. Watch your areas, and be careful. So let's get out of this unscathed, because apparently, the earthquake in Russia was on some southern mountain. And it was a volcano, Keith, that went off at the same time that ginormous earthquake hit. So it was close, right across, like from Alaska, but it was on an island area that was very, very I guess by itself, not too many. No one was hurt, correct, Linda, in the Russian volcano. So keep our fingers crossed. And one just went off in Japan. It was a 5.0. So right before showtime, one went off in Japan, 5.0. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. And Mr. Odell says, can't that be said? Spirituality as well. Slow down. Absolutely slow down. Absolutely. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. I think there is when we have a lot of Mercury energy. Mercury is Gemini. Mercury is Virgo. Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury is the mind. So when we have a lot of this Mercury energy, we've got Jupiter and Mars were together in Gemini. So it's a lot. Mercury's in retrograde, just went back into Leo. There's a lot of Mercury, a lot of head energy. So to make you be in it, hopefully people can start to get some sleep this week. I know a lot of people were very restless last week. They couldn't sleep because I get texts, what's going on? And I'm just like, it's a CCF. I don't even go into the details now. I'm just like, oh, it's just a CCF. It should wind down in a little bit. Just, remain calm, stay calm. And then, the poor police, I thought, oh, up there in Chicago, please stay safe. So at least everybody's staying safe. And that was all kind of the world headlines that I could find. I don't know if anything else has really happened. I hope not. Let's keep it calm. And I know Keith and Howie were talking about that. Howie had posted about a thing in the sky which looked like a big lightning bolt type thing coming down. And Keith and I've talked about the timeline. He knows about it. I'm clueless about this timeline, that apparently the timeline got messed with. So if a human messed with the timeline that the universe has set out, astrologically, it's fitting in with what's really going on. So it's a little weird. We'll talk about it on Monday night on Keith's show, but it's very weird how the astrology is working out with this timeline situation. I think it's that CERN thing. Animal House end movie. Stay calm, everyone. Just stay. That's right. Stay calm. I think it's that CERN thing, that machine that they mess with the portals or something. Yes, CERN. Yeah. So we'll just tell CERN to stop. Okay, here's what Keith is saying. Keith and Howie are our temples of wisdom. There are multiple timelines attempting to merge and correct everything. Well, I thought about that this morning over coffee when I saw Howie's post, because in astrology right now, our baby toes, one baby toe is in the age of Aquarius. We're talking, okay, it's either 12,000 years or 20,000 years. But when you get that many thousands of years, it doesn't really matter. We went from, on December the 20th, 2020, we went from Earth energy that's either been there for 700 or thousands of years. We are now in air energy. So for that timelines to correct themselves, I would assume they would have had to wait for this shift. We now have Pluto sitting at 0 degrees of Aquarius. I mean, there's just the full moon was in Aquarius. So it was all this Aquarian stuff going on. And then that light came out of the sky. I'm telling you, it's fixing itself, Keith, I think. Multiple timelines are attempting to merge. I think they're merging. That's why there were maybe 1,000 earthquakes. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. He has problems right now with FA. Oh, Elon and EPA. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. Poor guy. Poor thing. He does. He's always got issues. Elon's always got some kind of an issue. He just had his 12th baby. He just had his 12th little one. So Elon must be finding some time to do some things. He said baby number 12. God love his heart. Well, come on in, you guys. I've got a great show set up for tonight. Interesting show. Howie, this is close to you. Manassas Park in Virginia, where we have a missing 28-year-old mother nurse. She's a neonatal nurse from Nepal. And that's right in Virginia area. So let's get started on our show. Now, again, we take forensic astrology. We look at the charts, connect it with the mapping, see what the charts will tell us, if anybody has any intuitive feelings. And I already know that you're going to on this case, because it's packed with I know you guys, you're going to see it all. So let's get started. And this is the case of Mamta, beautiful young mother. Let's get it. Before we get started with Mamta, I wanted to show you guys. That's right. We have covered Dee Warner's case here on the show a couple of times. Dee Warner was found. She went missing in Michigan on April 21st, 2021. My bad, April 2021. And I don't know if you all remember this case. Her husband was a pretty much a person of interest from the get-go. He was arrested last year for this. However, Dee was never found. She has been found. And there are pictures of Dee, beautiful home. They ran that business out of their lovely home in Michigan. If you all recall, there were some of these big pipe things on the property that the lines went to. Dee was found in one of the properties, one of the farms that they had owned, in one of those big containers. Now, this is the charting that we used. There's the house, and it also had their business. The chart on the bottom is the one, the mapping on the bottom is the one that the chart did. The chart on the top is where her remains were found, not far away from their main home. As you can see, there we go. The lines are pretty close to where, if not exactly where she was found. The lines were really odd. If you look I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. If you look closely on this one, look up to the left where the two lines are. That's where those big tanker things are. The astrology went to the right in that one building. And I remember saying, what was going on in that building that night? So sure enough, apparently where no cameras were, he prepared that big tube or whatever have you. And they found the big cylinder container, whatever that was. He had welded it back, put one of there it is, and put their logo on it. Now, her brother stated that this particular one was by itself. He found that funny away from all of the other ones. And actually, he's the one that felt that she was in one of these containers. So intuition, I don't know, brother's intuition, but luckily she has been found for her family. So it's wonderful. It's good that they can get some closure now. So here is our case of Mamta. Mamta is, as you can see, Manassas is up by Washington, D.C., up in Northern Virginia. Manassas Park. It's a lovely area, lovely area. Mamta came to this country from Nepal. She had an arranged marriage in 2020. And I know that here in the United States, we don't have arranged marriages are not common. But in Nepal, about 80% of the marriages in Nepal are arranged marriages. And I found that very interesting. So, with culture and tradition, they are arranged marriages. She immigrated here in 2021 and is a neonatal nurse. A little neonatal nurse, they're also angels. Look at her, 28 years old. And on August the 1st, Mamta did not show up for work. She worked 2 days a week, 12-hour shifts, and she has a 1-year-old little baby girl. So on August the 2nd, her employer called the police. On August the 2nd, the police went to her home in Manassas for a wellness check. There's the darling little one, her husband, and Mamta. Now, they went and did a wellness check. This gorgeous, beautiful home. And from what the police gathered from the husband, we don't know what it was. They were satisfied that all was okay. They did not go inside. And they told her husband apparently something to the effect of, if she doesn't come home, if you don't see her by such and such, by couple of days, you call us and we'll do a missing persons report. That was on August the 2nd. So now we're going to lose some more time that she has technically been missing. Okay. She last worked on July 27th. She last spoke to a friend on July 28th. She spoke to her mother in Nepal every day. She last spoke to her mother on the 29th. Her mother attempted to call the 30th, the 31st, and August the 1st. Her mother tried to call her from Nepal. Every day they talked. Her mother could not connect through. Her husband stated that he last saw her on July 31st. Now, when you listen to his interviews, we have to be very careful because of interpretations, okay, in interpreting things and trying to hear what he has to say. He stated something to the effect of, because he does have broken English, he saw her at dinner on July 31st. He thought she went to work in the morning. She didn't, it's his account has changed since I became interested in this case, it seems like. Now, right before the show, we came on air. I always check cases to see if there's any developments. As of 6:30, there was a huge police presence at the home. Now, what that means, we don't know. It was just a huge police presence. That was how the story broke. Huge police presence. Were they going inside? Were they questioning him? Has she been found? We don't know. We don't know. So what has come out with this particular case with Mamta is the community has come out full force, help us bring her home. They are going on searches. They are putting together functions, coming out and speaking. They are having gatherings. This area, it just seems like the community has stepped up completely. Everybody is searching in this area for Mamta. There are nurses coming down from DC. People are coming down to help with Mamta, basically because her family is in Nepal. Her brother is desperately trying to get a visa to get here. Call your senator. Call your senator should be able to help you with an emergency visa. Make a long story short. I had to have an emergency visa, or everything worked out. I didn't need it, but I called my senator at the time. This was back in the late 80s. Was Mitch McConnell. I didn't have a passport and had to get to Cairo, Egypt. My sister was sick. She had toxic shock syndrome. I didn't have a passport. In less than 6 hours, my senator's office had me flying up to DC. They had an emergency visa ready for me. I was going to have dinner with the Egyptian consulate or whoever he was at DC, just to help me out to get to my sister who was in Cairo. What happened is, though, I was making plans. I was going to go, and her fever broke. So long story short, she was well. But if you need emergency help, call your senator's office, because this was done within 6 hours' time. I had an emergency visa and a flight going up to DC. They were going to meet me at the plane. So if you ever run into that and you need help, not your congressman, call your senator. I had great luck. And I was even on the phone with my sister, and Senator McConnell's office interrupted my phone call and said, Senator McConnell's on the phone for you. They interrupted my phone call at that time. Now, of course, we had landlines, but so if you run into that issue. But getting back to Mamta. Now, the plot seems to thicken a little bit with Mamta's story. Mamta was very, very active on social media. Now, in February, she moved out of the family home and went to stay with a friend. Her friend stated that she had no money, no car, and no phone. So her friend got her a phone so that she could get to her shifts at work. And this was in February. Mamta got into a couple of private Facebook groups where people have come forward now stating She was considering leaving the marriage, didn't know about custody, had issues like that. That's recently. She did move back into the family home. There's also chatter that she had contacted some DV centers. So, could Mamta be at a center hiding? Could be. Could something nefarious have happened to her? Could be. We don't know. The thing about this case is the timeline is so whacked. I have zero timeline to go by, and as you all well know, with astrology, I have to have an exact timeline for the mapping to be accurate, for me to say 100% yes, take this map and go search here or there. So I used a couple of times. Her mother said on July 30th, she spoke to her in the evening, which would be here in our time, Eastern time, July 29th. So I thought, what's evening time? About 7 p.m., 6 p.m. I'll use that time. Her husband said he last saw her at dinner time on July 31st. So I thought, okay, I'll try that. So I did chart it. I did map it. I wouldn't use it. It turned out pretty interesting. The findings are very, very interesting on the astrology. So I'm going to keep watching this case. And if any of her friends or even family members need help and want a chart, PM me, because I will do the chart and help you guys as much as I can, but we've got to have a time. So we know her friend talked to her, or her friend got a call from her on July 28th. What time was that? What time did mom talk to her on the 29th? Because her husband does not give us a time. He said they slept, with the baby sleeping. He went upstairs and then it was dinner time. She was in the kitchen. But we don't have a time for the husband. Also, the husband stated her green card is missing. But he stated that was in her work bag, which is gone. So there's a lot of really what ifs. Did she go to a shelter? We don't know. No one knows. So we need to stay on this. Nancy Grace covered this story, as well as JLR Investigates is covering it. Get the word out on her, because they need ring cameras to be looked at. They need dash cams to be looked at. So I came up with a couple of questions. Need an accurate timestamp, which we all know I do. Last spoke to the friend. Where was Mamta calling from when she called her friend? What about mom? How did she get to work? She didn't have a vehicle? So if she didn't have a vehicle, how did she leave the home on July 31st or August the 1st? He did not report her missing until August the 5th. Where's her phone? Have they checked the phone records? Did she wear an Apple Watch? We've done enough cases here to know that Apple Watches will track even steps. They track everything. Everybody needs to look. The main thing on the chart that I saw is there's dash cam or cameras that in the neighborhood that can pick her up. It's in the chart. If they're not in the neighborhood, what about gas station? What about banks? What about anything in the surrounding area within walking distance? Is anybody, she very well could be at a shelter. Is there a possibility her father had something take place? Has this been asked? The father of the baby? The father, her husband? That's another question. Is there a possibility her father had something take place? Good question. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Arranged marriages can be very dangerous for women. Yes, 80 to 90% in Nepal are arranged marriages. And that's something that we don't have here. So I think it's we don't understand that. Oh no, her father. I don't know. I'm not the only person, Howie, that we are aware of is the mother and her brother. Now, because everything that has to do with her disappearance is on Facebook, all of the family interviews are not being translated. So no one can understand what they're talking about when the family is being interviewed. We can't understand it. They're from Nepal, so hopefully her brother will get here. But that's a good question. Now, this chart again, I'm gonna put a disclaimer on this chart because I don't have a good timestamp. And even when I use July 29th and July 31st, there's not that much difference. Actually, there's very little difference in the charts. What's interesting is the fourth house in this chart is packed. What's the fourth house? It's something occurred at the home. It's the home. I looked in the 12th house to see if anything was in there because that's where we would find somebody hidden. And it's empty. Nobody's in there. I also looked in the 9th house because that rules over foreign travel. Did she get on a plane and travel home? Was she in danger? Did she leave because of a DV situation? Nothing in the 9th house. It's all in the 4th house. But going into the 3rd house, which is the neighborhood, we find Neptune. Neptune is cameras. It's videos. There are videos within the neighborhood that are going to have some clues. So I think that's very, very important for anybody that's working on this case or friends of hers. And I know law enforcement, that's the first thing they do check. They do go around neighborhoods. They solicit everybody and look for cameras and ring cameras because everybody has them. So whatever we find with Mamta, there's going to be some film evidence somewhere. Neptune is too strong. It's way too strong in this chart. Let's see what else. I hate to even read the chart because of the fact the time is unknown. But I will tell you what's in there and what it means. But I'm not going to say that that's what happened because we don't have a really good time. We've got Uranus, and you all know that's unexpected. Could be an accident. It could be something unexpected happened. Mars, Mars can also mean some kind of violence. Could be an accident. And Algol is in there. Algol rules. Algol is the star that rules over head trauma. Now, could that have happened? I don't know. I'm just telling you what they mean. Pluto right there close to the ascendant means something chaotic happened right in front of her. When it's at the ascendant, it means it's right in front of the victim or the person. The perp shows up in the house. Now, I don't know. Could it have been perhaps a fight? Could be. I'm guessing at this point. Usually with charts, I know, go here, go there. But at this point, like I said, without a time, even a day, I can't even pinpoint it down to a day. So we need help with the timestamp. So if anybody watching that you do find a timestamp or hear of it and you follow this case, let me know. I'd be happy to do the chart. More than happy because the entire community has come out. There's pictures of the community coming out for searching. I know what other group. There are a lot of other creators. Dolly Dolly was there searching. He lives in Virginia. He's a creator. He was up there with his wife searching. So a lot of creators now, true crime creators, are picking up this story, which is excellent. It's phenomenal. So before we look at the map, let's look at the chat. And here's Howie. Many of these cultures, the father has the right to punish the daughter if the marriage goes wrong. See, there's a lot of that in the culture aspects and traditions of that we don't know about. And I don't know if there is a father, because that no father has popped out yet in anything. If there were problems at home, then she may have spoken to someone at work about it. Everybody at work, and from what people are saying, there were issues at the home where she did leave and move out in February, but she came back to the home. She's very open about that. Did they iron out their problems? You don't, and it's hard to, you shouldn't speculate, because if she did leave the home, perhaps, and if it was an arranged marriage, perhaps, that's why he wasn't so alarmed that she had left. She had left one other time before, but a red flag, when she did leave the marital home in February, she took the baby with her. And that's another thing I think is very interesting, is the fact that she's a neonatal nurse. But those are babies. Her whole social media is her and the baby. I can't imagine this young mother leaving her child. Now, that could be speculation. That's just my opinion. But I can't imagine her. It's a red flag to me. I think if she left, look at her pattern. She left one other time before. However, she took the baby with her. This time she did not. Father has the baby. So father has been to one of the gatherings. He did have the baby with him, but he did leave early. But he's got a young child with him. Again, big police presence right now at the home. I don't know what could be. Are they serving a warrant? Are they going in to look? No one knows. Just don't know. So let's take a look at what that chart. Here is the mapping. If we go by that chart that I used. Now, here is the map. Let's get the map bigger. Here we go. Try to get it bigger. Okay, there we go. Here's the map within about a 2.5 mile radius. I think it's interesting that all of those lines go by a park that was close to the home. That was very close to the home. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at all those lines are headed right to that park area. I would search that. And I know they've been searching. There is a park that she would frequent. If that's the park she frequents, yeah, I would check the backyard for sure. And in that park area, I don't know if they have water. There's another section of lines close to waterways. Look at all those waterways. Very, very close. Now, if this is about a 2 mile radius, that park would be very, very close to her home. Very, very close. It's a 2 mile radius. So it's about half a mile away, I'd say. Maybe a mile, if that. But look at all those lines headed to that park. That's where I would search. I don't know if they brought out canines. One would think, one would hope they would have by now. But this is the chart. Here's the mapping. Now, there's Mamta's missing poster. I am going to post her missing poster on R.I.F.T after the show on our R.I.F.T Facebook page. I'll put it on my Facebook page. Please share it so that the word can get out in the area. And I think a lot of it to share is basically to get out Check your ring cameras, check your dash cams. Did anybody see anything that morning around that time frame? And the number to call is 703-361-1136. There's also a Facebook page for Mamta if you want to follow her case. But if you do anything at all, please, we've all got friends on our social media. If we can do anything, we can take 30 seconds to share a missing poster for this darling young woman. She is so loved in this community. I mean, the outpouring for this community and the searchers has been it's amazing. So many groups are coming together for her, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that communities can come together knowing that a lot of her family is not in this country. I mean, I cannot imagine her mother right now being that far away from a missing child that's got a brand new baby. Wonder what he did for work, and was he smart? What was he dumb enough to bury her in the backyard? The employment is pretty sketch. It's not too it's kind of weird. Apparently was in the military in some capacity. It looks like he's an IT person, but yet no one seems to know. From what was told to her, and I think this happens a lot in a lot of DV cases, is that he was intelligence in the military, and he would get custody of the baby, and he had the military, blah blah blah. So it's just fear tactics to a young brand new mother, 28 years old, and she's only been in this country for a couple of years. So it would be very difficult and very hard with no family on where she would go. So not too sure what he does for a living. IT, it looks like. She didn't show up on the 27th to work. He probably got in a fight. Okay, it was accident on the 26th. Wait a minute. No, because she called her friend on the 27th. She did not show up for work on August the 1st. August the 1st was the day she was supposed to go to work. And her work, the folks at her, at the hospital that she works at, called the police to do a wellness check. So it was actually her coworkers that called. That's what happened. Her coworkers called in for the wellness check. Unknown. There are pictures of him on her Facebook page that he's in looks like an army type uniform. Looks like army, or it could be National Guard. I don't know. It could be backyard. You just don't know. We don't know. That was Bach's suggestion, by the way, about the backyard. It wouldn't surprise me. And, there is a large police presence currently at the home. Oh, and Lee said possibly a translator for the service. Many individuals coming in work. Could be. I don't know. It's good money. It is. Yeah, my daughter-in-law makes good money translating at hospitals. Well, he's Army. It looks like Army, maybe possibly Army as a translator. She is a nurse. She is a neonatal nurse. She works at the hospital. But but that's the information that we've gotten so far on Mamta. So I think the important thing now is to get the word out there so that police know that this case is going to catch on. So and the police presence could be what you came up with. I don't remember. You said the fourth house, something about cameras. Maybe they found something on somebody's camera. Let's hope so. Let's hope so, because the fourth house did come up heavily in the chart. As you guys can see, it's the whole fourth house is loaded. That's in the home. in the home. So possibly maybe they're trying to get some things cleared up and questioning him. Look at that fourth house. It's packed. And it's all headed up to the eighth house. So I don't like that. But we don't know. Again, it could just be me looking at a chart that really doesn't have a lot of meaning because we don't know the time. And I basically wanted to highlight this case because I know that Howie and a lot of the folks that are with the Rift Network and Travelers of the Rift are a lot of Virginia people. And I thought maybe the more we can get posters out there, the more people will say, hey, I'm going to check my camera, because a lot of people may not have the news on, or just, things just happen. So I thought, well, this is a Virginia case, young mother, family is out of the country. We can all become her adopted little family and try to help find her for her family at home. So I will put her poster. It's a stumper of a case, because what if she did? And my question is, if somebody goes into a program where they are hidden, do the police, if the police were to call the different shelters, women's shelters, are they obligated to tell the police, yes, I've got her here, and yes, she is safe? And that's a question I simply don't know the answer to. Because if she is in hiding, then that's where she belongs, in hiding, for safety reasons. I can't believe she wouldn't take her little baby with her. Oh, no, they did? Is that why the police were there? Where at? Well, I know there was a huge, before I came on to do the show, the police presence was at her home. Huge police presence, and that was at 6:30, Suke. But I wasn't. Okay, so Suke says that they found her body. So we'll get information from Suke and see. Catch the replay. Okay, Rue, catch the replay. Oh, no. Suke, let us know, Suke, if you found anything, or anybody can Google it and see what we're getting. Because this is breaking while we're on the show. Nearby river buried. Did you see the map, Suki, that I did? Oh, I'm so sorry. So that explains the police presence at the house. Let's see. Was it around nearby the river? There's a lot of, was it that river, Suke? Or was it a river around there? Around there, there's rivers all around by her house. Look at that. Was it around any of those lines? Okay. Oh my! You know what? That is his one neighbor told in TikTok Live. Well, and right before I came on, I checked the case, and it said that there was a huge police presence at the home. That's what Suke is saying. Rue, we'll find out. Thank you for letting us know, hon. So now we can, my heart just goes out for her daughter, and her mother. Heartbreaking for her mother. Absolutely heartbreaking. So we broke here that Suke will keep us informed, hon. Yes, please keep us informed that apparently a neighbor came out on TikTok Live and found her body buried by the river. Well, we've got lines going all over the river. So we'll have to keep in touch, you guys, and find out. Hi, Rue. Yes, apparently, yes, Rue. Nearby. They found her body nearby river, buried. There we go. Yes, absolutely. All of us will say prayers. Prayers for her family, prayers for the baby, you know, and I'm just really proud of the communities that came out, and, you know, it's just an ending that I'm sure nobody wanted for this young, sweet mother. It's just heartbreaking, you guys. Heartbreaking. He went straight to her house for more information. Okay, the neighbor did. Okay. So he just probably just broke this on TikTok live then, right? Because at 6:30 there was not a whole lot of information out. So we're just finding this out now when we're on the show. Yeah, it did. And that's not even Lee with a good timestamp. I'll be curious to see where she was found. It's just very, very sad. Well, and unfortunately, he was given a lot of time. So thank God she was buried by the river. That's crazy. We'll have to keep an eye out, and everybody will say prayers for her family and her family in Nepal. Okay. He cut live right now, but maybe he will be back soon. Okay, yeah, definitely, and we'll keep informed that that's breaking right now, hon. Thank you for letting us know. I'm curious to see if it were near any of these lines that the astrology was showing us, because it's going through a lot of the river near the water. Let's see if the chart shows anything about water. The chart that we used. Yeah, because there's water all around her home. And there's the neighborhood that everybody was searching for her. God love her heart. Oh, let's see. Pisces. Saturn's in Pisces. So Saturn would be remains. And remain Pisces is water. So you guys, well, you know, thank you so much for keeping us posted, hon. Thank you for letting us know. I'll be curious to know. Does anybody else got anything else to say in the chat? Keep our fingers crossed for her. I just feel horrible for her family. So we'll all light candles tonight and say prayers. Okay, let's see. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, have you done Lena Keel's chart? No, I don't know who Lena Keels is. I'm not familiar with that case. So I have not. Probably water in that park. Yep. I'll bet it is. Probably close to that park. Who would do that knowing that that would be the park that they would go look with canines? Or where searchers would go. That would be the first place searchers would go look. Who would do that? Who in the world would do that? Yeah, we know. Okay. It is awful, Linda. Linda said just awful. Dad was connected with the military. Well, it's just awful. Just who? Are you talking about the one that you asked me about, Lee? I don't. Are you talking about Mamta's case or the case that you asked me about? The little girl me and my dog looked for, we have her time. Oh, a little girl. Oh, okay. Are you talking about that other case? Okay, so Tammy said that she has searched for a little girl. No, how old is that case? Lena Kill. Kyle Kill. How old is it? Linus. Okay, yeah. Give me the information. Tammy, if you got the times. How old is it? How old is the case? I'm going to look and see if there's anything on here about Mamta's case. Well, anybody put in your last final thoughts? Oh, police put crime scene tape around Manassas Park's home. So they have now called it a crime scene. They've got 20 minutes ago. Let's see. Police will hold a press conference tonight at 9:30 p.m. They began arriving at the home around 5 p.m. The house was circled in yellow crime tape as of around 7 p.m. At one point, as many 10 police cars were outside the home, neighbors said. For the past 3 weeks, friends and members of the local community have rallied around her, conducting their own searches at nearby Blooms Trail Park and holding nightly demonstrations. They were gathered outside of her home tonight, some people. Worth said she's glad to see the police response, but feared the case isn't going to take a positive direction. So that was a close friend of hers that said that. But now it has been listed as a crime scene. So that's the whole entire house is covered with crime scene tape. Good night, Joni and everyone. Awesome show. And this, breaking news. Crazy. Probably spraying chemical. They're doing something. If it's a crime scene. Okay, get it to me, Tammy. So breaking news on our case that we were covering tonight with Mamta. Again, huge police presence. At one time, there were 10 police cars in front of her home. And now there's crime scene tape around the home. And the neighbor was on TikTok Live stating that Mamta was found near the riverbed, near a river apparently close to the home. So, that's sad news, you guys, isn't it? I hate to hear that. It's just horrible. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. I'll keep everybody posted on what the outcome was on this. God love her heart. Everybody light a candle. Say prayers for her family, because it's just a sad, sad time, especially with a little 1-year-old baby, 28 years old. It's just heartbreaking. So everybody have a great week. Thanks for tuning in as usual. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. You think? Yeah. It's life. The missing. Yeah, it's my life. So everybody, thanks a million for listening. Tammy, get me the info that you guys have for that little girl that's missing a couple years ago. And here we go. Awesome show. Yeah, I wish it wouldn't have turned out like it did. It's so very sad. Just very, very sad, everybody. I know everybody feels just horrible. I think we were all hoping, I was hoping she was hiding and had gotten out in a DV shelter, just praying that maybe she had found safety and gotten some help. You know, Very scary for a young girl that doesn't know the laws. It's just I wish someone would have gotten to her quicker. But I'm sure they tried. So, but everybody have a great week. And I'll keep you guys updated on the channel, and we'll find out where she was found. And I'm going to watch the presser in third. There's a news conference on in 30 minutes. So everybody have a great week. I'll be back Wednesday night with another show, another true crime, mysteries beyond the scenes. Thanks again for our sponsors, Booze Paranormal and Stanton, Haunted Stanton Tours of Virginia, and Dark Cabin Studios with Jacob and his music. So with that, we'll leave with Jacob and his music. Thanks you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you all next Wednesday. So have a great week. Don't forget to smile. Have a great weekend. Thanks.